Good evening, everyone. My name is Karen, and I will be helping to facilitate this virtual open house. Welcome and thank you for attending. Tonight is the virtual open house for the online Master of Accountancy. As part of the agenda, we will talk about accounting careers and salary outlook, why a master's in accountancy. We'll talk about the Master of Accountancy program overview, the online student experience, start dates, question and answers will be at the end, and then next steps. First, I'd like to introduce Dr. Boyle. He is not attending this evening. He threw out his back, but Dr. Boyle is the chair. He's the accounting department director. He has a doctorate in business administration, program director, nonprofit leadership program associate professor. Next, Dr. James Boyle. He is a DBA. He has his CPA. He is also associate professor with a Master of Accountancy and a program director. Dr. Boyle, would you like to expound? I'm sorry, I got that all mixed up. Dr. Boyle is not here. He's the one that threw out his back. I'm so sorry. But Dr. Boyle, Dr. Doug Boyle is here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I could take it from here for a minute.
Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit about my background. I spent about 30 years in practice. So I think one thing you'll find unique about our program is not only do our faculty have advanced terminal degrees, but they've also worked a lot in industry. So I started off in public accounting and got my CPA and my CMA designations, and then moved into more senior leadership positions, and ended up being a chief financial officer and a chief executive officer for a Fortune 500 company. So one thing I think that's unique about our program is we do have people who've worked at very senior level positions in industry. So that helps you not only with the coursework to make it more relevant to what you're doing on your day-to-day job. It also helps you for networking and for getting your resume together and for career development. So I think that's one thing that's unique. The other faculty who will also teach in the Master of Accountancy program also have CPA licenses and other designations. Dr. Mahoney is a CPA and a certified fraud examiner as well. He teaches in the class. As well as Dr. James Boyle in the program and the other faculty. We also bring in some adjunct faculty who are still in the industry in senior positions. So that's a little bit about my background. I transitioned into academia about 10 years ago, but still stay very involved in practice. I serve on several boards, including chair of a board here in northeastern Pennsylvania. So that practice relevance makes us unique.
Thank you, Dr. Boyle. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry for the confusion. As I said earlier, Dr. James Boyle is the program director, and he did throw out his back, so he won't be able to join us this evening. But you will, when in the program, you'll be hearing a lot about both Dr. Boyle's and, of course, communicating with Dr. James Boyle as your program director. Next, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Misbah Ortez. She's a recent graduate of the Master of Accountancy. Misbah, would you like to mention your accomplishments?
Sure. My name is Misbah. I currently hold a position as a senior accountant at a non-for-profit. It's known as Central Nassau Guidance, and I've been in the accounting field for about 2 years. Started off as a staff accountant, and I moved up to AP Accounts Payable Supervisor. Recently I became a senior accountant, and I chose this program because of many different reasons. I work with my schedule. They were lenient, very helpful, and I completed my master's in accountancy in 1 year, and I recently graduated May 31st with a master's.
No, congratulations. Thank you for joining us this evening as well. Next, Dr. Boyle is going to address accounting careers, the evolving role of an accounting professional. Dr. Boyle?
Yeah, this accounting remains one of the most, not just lucrative, but also one of the most market driven profession. So for example, when I started in public accounting, I started in public, got certified, I moved into private industry and became a controller and a CFO, and then ultimately moved into general management. So what we typically see with senior executives in companies, many of them have an accounting background, especially if you become certified as a CPA. They serve in various different roles between you could be financial advisory services, auditing, fraud investigators, forensics, analytics, taxes, and consulting. I think that the best thing about our program is we really focus on all these different areas to help you experiment to see what you might be interested in to advance to the next level of your career. With our Master of Accountancy degree, not only will you get the technical skills you need in accounting, we also have a lot of courses that help round you out as an individual. So you build things such as emotional intelligence, and we have accounting communications to prepare you, and you actually analyze earnings calls of CFOs and CEOs. So our curriculum is a very intense accounting degree curriculum, but it also provides those softer skills. And we do a lot of research in this area, and typically accountants who reach the highest levels of organizations have obviously strong technical skills, but they also have those softer skills. So within the career of accounting, accountants reach the highest levels. For example, a CEO role, more and more chief executive officers are coming from an accounting finance background. Because, for example, when I was a controller, I was the person who spoke to Wall Street every quarter and the analysts. I was the person who did the acquisitions. I was the person who was the spokesperson for the company. So it's a natural fit. So accounting is a very robust industry with many opportunities.
Thank you. Next, we're going to talk about why accountancy.
Yeah, and I mentioned it earlier, but accounting is not just a very rewarding career just from a personal standpoint, because you have lots of different paths you could take. It's also a very lucrative career. This is some salary data that was taken from PayScale, but a typical corporate controller, could typically make over 200,000 a year. You can see all the different positions that accountants do hold in companies. As you even get to higher levels in the organization, obviously like a chief financial officer will make far in excess of these numbers. And additionally, if you have stock options, which those more senior levels typically have, it becomes extremely lucrative. So it's a very stable career, even in bad times when the economy is maybe going through a recession or experiencing a shock. Typically, accountants are in a much safer position than other areas, because that's when they need really accountants more than ever to analyze profits and to help drive margin and profit. If you look at growth, it's a career that's projected to continue to grow, especially for folks who hold a CPA license. So if you're looking at a long-term career in accounting, you definitely might want to consider that, and our program prepares you very, very well for that license. As far as our program goes, I mentioned some of the things, but I'll review them again, is that while the degree is a very rigorous academic degree, it is very practical as well, because our faculty are former practitioners at very high levels. So we don't give a lot of busy work in the program. We know everybody's working really hard in your current jobs, and you have family obligations, so you're balancing lots of things. So we're very careful to make sure that the assignments we provide are very practical and relevant to what you're doing. So you won't find any kind of busy work. It's very much things that you'll use almost immediately in your career. We also focus on soft skills too, like we said, in addition to technical accounting skills, because folks who reach the highest levels in accounting have soft skills as well. So we have a course in accounting communications, which we analyze how an accountant could effectively communicate in various industries, whether it be public accounting or taxation, or in more senior levels. You analyze earnings calls from CFOs as to how effective you think they are. You analyze shareholder meetings and lots of different communications. So your communication skills should dramatically improve. Also on the ethical side, we go through lots of ethical dilemmas. There's an accounting ethics course where you're going to look at different ethical dilemmas that practitioners typically face, and how you provide a framework on how you want to deal with those. Additionally, our MAcc program is, or our business school is AACSB accredited, which is represents the top 5% of business schools in the world are AACSB accredited. So that's a very high distinction. It's the highest accreditation you can receive for a business school. Last pointly is CPA preparation. This past year, we were ranked top 15 in the nation by accounting.edu.org for CPA pass rate of our graduates. So we were really proud of that, because there's lots of programs out there, but our students are ranked nationally for their success rate. Also, there's been other rankings. I won't go through them all, but in the past year, we've been ranked anywhere from number 1 to 3 to 4, depending on the ranking organization. But for example, Best Colleges has ranked us number 1 in the country for the past 3 years in a row. Best College Reviews ranked us number 3 this year. So we're pretty proud of that, because we're a Jesuit school, and you get smaller classroom attention with us, but we also have that national recognition in that national ranking. So that really makes us stand apart.
Yes, awesome. Thank you. Next, why Scranton's accountancy program?
Yeah, we looked at the market, and when we built the MAcc program, we have a group called the AdPac group, which is our accounting department professional alumni council. So these are partners and CFOs in practice. So we built the curriculum along with them to address things that were needed in the marketplace. So 2 things that came up as very market driven right now, and I'm sure everybody in the call has heard this, but forensic accounting is an area that's really growing. And in the marketplace, you typically demand a higher compensation with that expertise level. So you could take a concentration, so you get a master's in accountancy degree with a concentration in forensic accounting. Another high area that you could consider is accounting analytics. These are basically courses that teach you how to analyze big data sets, and how to really get insights out of data, and making sure data is properly scrubbed and analyzed. So that's another area, if you look at any job website, where analytics or business analytics are very popular now, and it will be continuing to the future. Or you could take a more general option. So you might say, geez, I'll do the master's in accountancy degree, but I don't want to just concentrate one area. I want to take a few more forensic classes and a couple more analytics classes, and a couple maybe tax classes, and I want to make my own curriculum. So you could do that. So the general option, you have more electives to deal with. So there's lots of flexibility for the student to proceed. We also added a bridge option a few years ago, because what we were seeing in the marketplace was there were a lot of professionals who maybe didn't have the undergraduate accounting degree or accounting courses required to pursue a master's of accountancy. So we created a series of courses that the student could take to transition into our master's in accountancy program. So for example, we'll have folks who maybe were math majors undergraduate, or maybe they're in a different discipline in accounting and they want to make a career change. So you have that option with our program. Dr. James Boyle will sit down with you and go through your transcripts and figure out, where you have gaps and how to bridge it in. So that's something that's very unique about our program. Most MAcc programs admit folks with an accounting background and accounting degree, so that really helps. Like I said before, our faculty are practitioners. I was a CFO before and a CEO, and a CPA and a CMA. So our faculty teaching the program are very much orientated that way. The curriculum is delivered 100% online. The way we try to do, because we know you're working professionals, is for my classes, I don't require really for you to attend a lot of live lectures. What we'll do is we'll provide all the materials that you need for the course within the learning system, and that way you can review those materials whenever you have time, so you could kind of build it around your schedule. And then I'm available to answer questions or to supplement what you're doing. So it works really nicely for our students, because they have lots of things going on in their life. Like I said before, we were ranked number 1 in the nation by Best Colleges for the past several years. So that's another recognition that we're proud of.
Thank you. Next, we'd like to talk about the accountancy course plans and maybe a little bit more insight as far as the accounting bridge courses for non-accounting majors.
Yeah, great. So the program is a 30 credit hour program. So it could be done within a year. I think most students I interact with are completing the program in a year. So part-time basis, 20 months or as little as 10 months, which would be less than a year, is very doable. And what's nice about it, it's flexible, is courses are offered 6 times a year in 8-week sessions. So you could sometimes maybe double up in one eight-week section. So let's say over the summer, if you're not as busy, you could take more classes, or if during busy time, accountants a lot are busy, during the first quarter of the year. So during that time period, people might take, less classes, or some students will even take a whole semester off. So you have all that flexibility. You're not stuck, because the way the courses are sequenced, really you could take the courses in any order that you want. In general, you'll complete 4 courses and then select 5 of 16 available electives. So you could use those for either your concentration in forensic accounting or accounting analytics, or you could finish, make your own curriculum based on what you're interested in. And then you finish with a capstone research class, which is Accounting 550, which I teach, which is really a fun class for me, because you could really see how far the students have come, and they're really doing high-end research and in providing that in a very succinct manner. The accounting bridge courses will normally add maybe 6 additional credits depending on what you've taken on the undergraduate level. So if you have a business degree at the undergraduate level, most likely you've taken at least 1 or 2 accounting courses. So your bridge wouldn't be as many courses. We do have students, like I said, that are coming in from even outside of business. So if somebody's making a career transition, they might have to take more than those credits. But like I said before, Dr. James Boyle would sit down with you and map out what that looks like to get into the program. So that's something that's very unique. If you're seeking a CPA license, which I think most of our students are, and by the way, we are ranked in the top 15 in the nation for CPA pass rates with our online MAcc program. Um, uh, Most states, now it says many on the slide, but I think it's pretty much most states do require 150 credit hours to actually get your license. Some allow you to sit for the CPA exam with an undergraduate degree, but then you don't get the license, you get the 150 credit hours. So as you're thinking about a career in accounting, you probably want to look at your state board of accountancy to make sure what that requirement is. But I'm pretty sure mostly all the states that I deal with now do require that 150 credit hours.
Next, and I think you touched on this, the concentrations.
Yeah. So this is really exciting for us, because our faculty who teach in this, most of the research we do is in forensic accounting. I really like doing fraud behavior courses, and Dr. Mahoney is also a certified fraud examiner. So really, you're going to take 15 credits in forensic accounting and then 15 credits in the core. So that would be your 30 credits. So you're going to be learning very advanced techniques on how to analyze, detect, and prevent fraud, and to uncover fraud, and what you do once a fraud is found. So some of the courses you would take would be financial reporting and research, which is a class that teaches you how to analyze financial statements to detect abnormal trends and patterns. You do advanced auditing, which is a higher level auditing class where we focus on both the standards and also the behavioral aspect of fraud. You'll do financial reporting fraud, which is the biggest frauds do involve misstatement in the financial statement. So we go through that course to determine, how those things occur, how you identify them, and then how you quantify the impact. Occupational fraud and abuse, and then business analytics, because we use analytics a lot to look at major data sets to detect fraud. So that's the forensic concentration. The analytics concentration is our newest one, and we actually use a faculty from our OIM department to help teach a lot of these classes with us, so we partner very closely with them. But the courses that are available for you to pick, you could pick 15 credits from a host of courses, including data mining, business analytics using R, business forecasting, business simulation, business database management, and business intelligence. So that's what you would do if you pick one of the 2 tracks. You'd have 15 core credits and then 15 the concentration credits. Or you could say, I want to do my core, and then I want to mix up my elective credits and maybe take some forensics, some analytics, or a couple tax classes or more cost classes. So you have a very high degree of flexibility.
Next, we're going to hear from Misbah with her online student experience. Misbah, if you wouldn't mind sharing with everyone your online experience in the program.
Sure. The online experience at University of Scranton, honestly, it was super easy for me. Reason being, everything was pretty clear. A lot of it, like Dr. Bull just put online. There's no pressure. You do it on your own time, and help is always available. You can contact the professors anytime. They respond to you right away. I've never had a problem reaching a professor if I needed assistance, and everything was clear cut. They tell you the syllabus is pretty clear, what you need to do for the class, when it's due, what's required of you as a student, and week by week, it's like it's like a blueprint. It's pretty clear. It was very good experience. I had a great experience with this university.
In what ways were you able to interact with faculty members?
I was able to they had their hours, and they had given their emails. I was able to reach them through emails, and on the program itself, you can contact the professor. Always available, so they respond right back to you.
So everybody was very accommodating.
Very accommodating, and you have your whole class. The students are there if you need help with one another. We did that a few times as well. Like, students will reach out to you, and I think everything is just clear. It's there, and you can reach them out through email, and everybody responds to you. It's very helpful.
Very caring as well.
Yes, very caring.
So tell us, what was your typical week look like?
My typical week would look like, depending on obviously what class I would take, but there's discussions. That was pretty much standard throughout every course that I took, and there was discussions through the week, and you needed to respond, want to respond, and you had to do your posting, and then you would have your assignment, your quiz for the week. Either it would be a group project or individual assignment, and that was like a week to week basis. That never changed. Usually was due on either the discussion had to be posted by Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the course, and all the assignments just had to be submitted by Sunday before midnight, and that was again standard throughout all courses.
So working full time, you felt like this was very manageable?
It was extremely manageable. I worked full time throughout the whole time that I was in this course, and it was manageable. Some terms I started with taking one class, and then the next term I took 3 classes, and then, like Dr. Boyle mentioned, you can move it around the way you want to, as it suits you, and I did. Then I took 2, and I was able to just manage however I felt. Like the busy season, I was able, had to take off. Like, then I would take one course, and then when the work was a little bit slower, I doubled up on the courses.
So you could actually tailor it to what was going on in your life.
You definitely can. Yes.
Do you feel like that you could apply the coursework to your career as you were working?
For sure. You learn, like, it's more hands-on, like, in a sense that you understand. Like, the course breaks down, the texts were pretty clear, and for instance, like the fraud classes, those were very interesting classes, and you saw like how some agencies can, and how you can make the errors, and when auditors come auditing. That was another course that was pretty interesting. So I definitely, like, it went hand in hand with my current career. Although I'm starting from private, I'm gonna go into public accounting at the end of the year. I feel like I have a good head start from after completing this program, going into public accounting, and I plan to sit for the CPA by the end of the year. So I think this was it worked perfect. It was perfect for me.
So you feel like it really prepared you for the CPA?
Yes, I feel like it definitely will prepare me for the CPA as I just began studying for one of the
Uh-huh.
sections. So I feel like it's something that I remember that I've seen it in class, although I have to go thoroughly into it, but it's not that you learn something in class so far for auditing that I can say that I never saw it yet. It wasn't brand new, so it
And
helps.
did you feel like also there was really good technical support if you needed it?
I had issues just one time. It was towards the beginning, and I remember like just setting up, the app, everything. They were completely helpful. They called me. They made sure they stood with me till everything worked out. I Throughout the whole system, I never really had any other trouble. That was just I remember one time, and they were very helpful, and it was available. Everything is available, like for you online, like wherever you are. And there's many resources that are available for you to access anytime.
One final question. What would be one of the things that really stood out to you that you could share with other students that you felt um, was your favorite thing about the program?
My favorite thing, okay, when I applied for this, before I applied for this program, I researched to top universities for a master's in accountancy, and then I also researched like the rate of students that pass the CPA, because that rate is pretty tough. The exam is pretty tough. So those were some of the factors that I looked into, and every time I looked, this was one of the universities that had a check mark for everything, and so that's what really like attracted me. Then I spoke with the counselors. They set me up with student services, and I was able to speak to Dr. Boyle, and he was able to review my transcript. This is prior to me even registering for the program, and was able to explain everything to me. This is the route I would go. This is how it would help me, and which route I wanted to take in the future. And CPA was my goal. It's going to be my goal, and I feel like that was like the best. I think it was just it rubbed me the right way, because there were other universities that I reached out to, and the help just was not there. It was like, this is it. This is what you get. And I feel like in this program, that's not what I got. I received more resources. I received like a hand. It's not that I was forced into, you're gonna be part of our program or not. It was more so, this is what we offer. How can we help, even if you don't go, our route. So I thought that was like one of my favorite things. Another main thing is that Dr. Boyle also gave me the course layout, the plan for the 30 hours that you need in order to graduate. And you can maneuver, you can pick your electives as you feel like that's something that interests you, or it might help you in the future. And I thought that was another great thing. It's not just exact set courses throughout. You had options.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your student journey within our program, Misma.
You're welcome.
Next, Dr. Boyle, if you could touch on the industry connections. I know students are very interested in what kind of industry connections that we have in the professional council.
Yeah, like I said before, we have about 50 folks that help advise our program, and they're available to our students should you choose to want to get some advice or to network. So these 50 individuals are typically partners in public accounting, so they're with all the big four. We also have folks who are CFOs in industry, and we also have some people who are in different various government agencies, including the FBI. So let's say you were in the program and you're thinking, geez, ultimately I'd like to try to become an FBI agent, or I'd like to move into a big four accounting firm. You would reach out to myself or any of the faculty really, and they would immediately get you in touch with one of our AdPac members who's serves in a senior role in that segment of the market, and they would help mentor you and guide you and open doors for you for career success. Based on this, our graduates, lots of them placed in the big four, such as Deloitte, Ernst & Young, KPMG, and PricewaterhouseCoopers. Many go for national accounting firms, and then also some has transitioned into industry roles and also government roles. So I would really encourage you to take advantage of this. Some students opt not to do it because they already have their dream job, and they want to stay where they're at, which is perfectly fine to advance within their current company. But others want to make career changes, so we help with that as well. Even if you want to stay with your current company, which is a great option, please feel free to reach out to myself. I career mentor a lot of students and also professionals, and we could get you in contact with people that you could talk to help you make those next moves and to think through things. And what's nice about this is these are folks who are very well connected in industry, but you can be very honest with them. So they're not in your current company, so you could really leverage their knowledge to make some very smart career decisions. So this is something that's very unique about our program. And we meet with these folks, at a very regular basis, and we could get you in contact with them within a couple days.
Thank you. Next, we'll talk about admissions deadlines. So currently, for the 2020 terms, we are still taking applications for summer B, which begins June 29th. Application deadline is June 18th. Fall A begins August 31st. Deadline is August 20th. And then Fall B is the term begins October 26th and the deadline is October 15th. We are on rolling admissions, so following the 2020 terms, the 2021 would begin in January. Next, we can go into a question and answer. We have a chat box. Would anybody like to start by submitting their questions? I do have a question from one of the participants for Dr. Boyle. This question asks, what advice do you have for students considering enrolling in the program?
Yeah, the advice I would give you is it's a big decision, and it's a very doable program. You can manage it. But the advice I have for you is that if you're going to enter the program, is to really get organized with your time, and to really make sure that you could dedicate a little time, every day to the program. So the best advice I give you, and you're probably very organized to begin with if you're a professional, but to really lay out the week and lay out the semester and lay out the month ahead of time, because it is very manageable as long as you organize it and lay it out. So that'd be the first piece of advice I give you. Two other pieces of advice quickly would be, don't be afraid to reach out to the faculty, because we really do want you to be successful in this program, and we really do interact with our students whenever they want advice, or whenever they want to engage with us, outside the classroom or inside the classroom. So our faculty are very approachable. I think the students who get the most out of the program do engage a lot with the faculty, so please do that. And then number three, it's more of a general piece of advice. There are a lot of programs in the marketplace, but I would really look for one where you feel you fit in. The things that make us unique are our national rankings and our CPA pass success rates, and the interaction we have with our AdPac working professionals. But also what makes us different, if you look at a lot of the ranked schools, most of those are much larger than the University of Scranton. So sometimes you don't get the one-on-one feel that you could get here. So when you come here, you're really part of our family, and we have a Jesuit mission, so which focuses on MAcc, which is to make sure that we're completely focused on the success and well-being of our students. So that makes us unique. So I would try to get a feel for all the different programs to see what one's feels like is the best fit for you.
And you just answered, I believe, a second question that just came in. What distinguishes Scranton's program from other master's degree programs out there?
Yeah, and I got my master's degree from a very good university as well, but it was a larger university, and sometimes I felt like I was a number, or the faculty weren't overly engaging as far as understanding my particular situation and goals, and sometimes we all have life things that happen, right? So you might be away on a business trip one week, and you're behind on your studies. So our faculty understand those things, and we're a smaller Jesuit school, like I said. So we really focus on the well-being of our students. So we bring you into our family, and make sure that we understand who you are, we know who you are, and we make ourselves available in that way. I think that is unique for such a nationally ranked program, because we are ranked #1 in the country for online by best colleges, and we're very well known. So that definitely makes us unique.
Certainly does. What about you had mentioned small classes. Someone asked, what is the student ratio?
Yeah, our classes are capped at 20, so we never go over 20. Most courses you'll have between like 10 to maybe 15 or 16 students. So that's our class sizes. So the classes are very small compared to our competitors, and that's good for a couple reasons. Number one is you get to engage the faculty, but also interacting with the other students is really important, because if you think about it, you're going to be networking with them, and you're going to be working together on teams and building relationships. So by being in smaller class sizes, not only could you engage the faculty better, but you could also feel comfortable building those relationships with your fellow peers.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, it looks like that there are no other questions. Would you like to add anything, Dr. Boyle, before we close out this session?
Yeah, the other thing I'd like to add is, if anybody has any follow-up questions for me at all, please reach out to me. I'm sure that my contact information will be provided to everyone, but don't ever hesitate to reach out to me as you're making your decision if you have additional questions, because like I said, it's a big decision, and it's a big commitment. So I'd be more than glad to talk to anybody one-on-one if you have anything else you want to talk about.
And to add to that as well, if you have any admissions questions, our number is here on the screen, as well as the link for the application. So we're always available as well to guide and to answer any admissions questions that you have. Misbah, thank you for joining us as well, Dr. Boyle. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us and for the virtual open house. And I thank you.